Today we're diving into a really powerful Hindi fable. It's about two brothers, one family, and a single decision that, believe me, changes absolutely everything. It's a timeless story about ambition, about sacrifice, and what it truly means to be wealthy.
So let's start with the big question that sits at the heart of this entire story. What is the true cost of success? We often think it's about money or hard work, but as we're about to find out, sometimes the price is much, much higher.
All right, let's set the scene. We're in a small village called Mangalpur, and here we meet Savita, a widowed mother who has poured her whole life into her two sons, Manav and Atul. But she's facing an impossible choice, a choice that's going to determine both of their futures.
And you can just feel her anguish in these words, right? The family has so little money that she can only afford to educate one of her sons? I mean, what a heartbreaking spot to be in. Any choice she makes is going to feel like a betrayal to one of them.
Well, a choice has to be made. And with that single decision, the two brothers are sent down completely different, completely separate paths. One is headed towards what looks like opportunity, and the other towards sacrifice.
And the contrast is just stark. We've got Manav, who's seen as the smarter of the two, and he gets sent to college in the big city. Meanwhile, Atul is the one who has to sacrifice. He's sent to work at a local sweet shop to help make ends meet. Their futures could not look more different.
So, fast forward a few years, and as this timeline shows, things move pretty quickly for Manav. In just 3 years, he graduates and lands a fantastic job as a manager. A few months later, he's already promoted and can finally move his mom and his brother to the city to live with him. On the surface, it looks like the family's sacrifice totally paid off.
Okay, so everything seems to be going great, right? Well, this is where things get complicated. Manav invites his super influential boss over for dinner, and this one night is going to test the very foundation of his relationship with his brother. And you have to remember Atul. All those years in the sweet shop, he's become an incredible cook, seriously skilled. So he sees this dinner as his chance to finally contribute, to impress this boss who, get this, just happens to own a chain of 5-star restaurants. But then the doorbell rings, and Manav's reaction, wow, it's just brutal. He says these sharp, cruel words to Atul. It's pretty clear Manav isn't proud of his brother. He's ashamed. He's ashamed of their humble background, and he's desperate to hide it. And this is the real irony, isn't it? While Manav is trying to shove his brother into the shadows, Atul's talent just can't be hidden. He puts together this meal that is, honestly, a masterpiece. The table setting is perfect, the food is incredible, and the boss, he is blown away from the second decision. And then comes the moment of ultimate betrayal. It's a real gut punch. The boss asks, who made this amazing food? And Manav doesn't just lie. He publicly humiliates his brother. He calls him a servant and dismisses all of his talent just to make himself look better. But here's the thing, you can't fool a real expert. The boss is a pro. He sees right through Manav's words. He recognizes the raw talent, the passion in Atul's cooking, and he decides to make a truly life-changing offer. And there it is. The boss turns right to their mother, Savita, and offers Atul a job as a head chef in his prestigious restaurant chain. For Atul, this is a dream he'd never even dared to have. But for Manav, it's his worst nightmare. So now we get to the climax. Manav just completely loses it. The thought of his servant brother suddenly being on his level, sharing his success, he just can't handle it. That jealousy eats him up, and he comes up with a plan to ruin everything for Atul.
And let's be clear, this is all about his own ego. He doesn't want an equal, he wants someone to look down on. So he decides that Atul's official taste test at the restaurant has to be a failure, and he's willing to cheat to make sure it is.
So he hatches this nasty little plan. He makes a secret call to bribe another chef, tells him to ruin Atul's dish. But he makes one huge mistake. He forgets their mother is in the next room and can hear every single word. And she doesn't hesitate for a second. She calls the boss and exposes her own son's betrayal.
So imagine the scene at the taste test. Atul presents his dish, and the boss's words are a total bombshell. He doesn't just say the dish is perfect, he reveals that he knows everything about the plot to sabotage it, all thanks to their mother. Manav's plan is completely exposed.
And the fallout? It's immediate. The very success Manav was so desperate to protect is just gone. He is fired, right there on the spot.
But the story doesn't end there with revenge. In this moment of total failure and shame, we finally get to see what both brothers are really made of.
And we learn a powerful lesson about what true wealth really is.
And this, for me, is the most incredible part of the whole story. After everything Manav did, the humiliation, the sabotage, Atul's first reaction is forgiveness. He literally pleads for his brother's job, showing this incredible grace that Manav just doesn't have.
This table really sums it up perfectly. On one side, you have Manav. He had all the signs of external success, the fancy job, the good salary, but on the inside, he was poor, just filled with jealousy and insecurity. And then you have Atul, the so-called humble cook, who had the real riches, talent, forgiveness, and loyalty.
And in the end, it was that single act of grace from Atul that became the most important lesson. It taught Manav something his college education never could: the real value of family and integrity.
Seeing his brother's unconditional love, even after everything, it finally breaks through Manav's pride. He gets it. He understands the profound mistake he made, and he realizes that the family bond he almost destroyed was worth more than any promotion or paycheck.
And that leaves us with a final question for all of us, really. As you climb your own ladder in life, take a look around. Ask yourself, is your success helping lift other people up, or is it casting a shadow on the very people who helped you get there in the first place?